All right. Thank you everyone for joining us. We have Caleb Ferguson now available. First question from Dbacks. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Ferg.
What's up, dude?
Just curious, everybody's talking about how well you and the bullpen have pitched. Can you talk about where your confidence is, and is it the highest it's been since you've been at this level?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can say it is the highest it's been. But to be honest with you, I'm trying not to think about that too much. I try and just go out and do what I do every day and prepare myself to be able to pitch that night and go out and compete.
Thank you.
Next question from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead, Alana.
Dave S.A. has been saying get on the Ferg train for a long time, Caleb. So I think everyone's on that Ferg train now. But what's it been like for you to be able to practice what you want to, but also to see it transition into a ball game and have the effectiveness of it?
It's great. I mean, it's obviously what I've been working towards, since doing this. And it's nice to finally see those results start to play out. But the work's not done, and there's still a lot of stuff that I need to accomplish. And I think, the long-term goal here this year is to get the World Series. So, once that's accomplished, then we'll go to the next thing. But definitely, yeah, it's a good time, and I just got to keep doing what I'm doing every day and staying available.
Do you still see yourself as a starter? Do you want that, or is that something?
Yeah, that's a good question. Somebody actually asked me that the other day in the clubhouse, and I can't remember who, but I don't know. I think starting's fun, but I also think throwing leverage innings in the back end of a bullpen's a lot of fun too, because those guys are talked about just as much. So I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I love starting, but I also love throwing, in a close game. So I don't know. Good question.
Did you ever think you'd say that? Did you ever think you'd even have to question it when you got drafted?
No, never. I was very outspoken about wanting to be a starter for the 2 years that I've been with the team now. So no, never would have thought I would be questioning that.
How are your conversations with your bullpen mates, considering you guys can't even sit next to each other anymore? I mean, how does the dynamic of a bullpen change based on the dynamic of pitching in a pandemic?
Not much, actually. I think our bullpen and our team all together does a pretty good job of the social distancing and the wearing the mask and doing everything that we can to be able to stay out on the field. In LA, we just kind of spread out, but I think we're going to take it to the stands and sit in the home run seats and start catching home run balls. So we'll see what happens with all of it.
Nice to watch you so far this year, Caleb. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Next question is Jack Harris. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Caleb, I know you were working on that slider cutter pitch back in the spring. Did the quarantine give you more time to just kind of perfect tweak your arsenal like you were working on back in March?
Yeah. It's kind of funny. So it was really good coming out of spring. And then whenever quarantine happened, I went home and it wasn't as good. And I don't know why. I didn't change anything. I kept trying to throw it. And then as soon as I got back out for summer camp, it was good again. So I don't know what changed with it, but it's still kind of a work in progress, to answer your question. And each day it gets a little bit better. But I think now it's more of just a consistency thing and being able to execute it and throw it to where I want. With the action and the velo and everything that I'm looking for is there. Now it's just the execution of it.
Were you able to face live hitting during the quarantine?
Yeah, actually, there was a group of us that kind of stayed together, and we had a place we would go. And I would throw lives depending on kind of what was happening with the talks of like when the season might start back up. But I would throw live twice a week, once a week. I'll try and do something off the mound about 3 times a week to try to stay ready. And that way, if they did drop the ball and say like, hey, you guys got a week, at least that way I was going to be ready, and then could go from there.
We talked a lot about, or a lot of attention's been paid to, you know, starters having this short period to get kind of re-ramped up. Was it hard as a reliever with, you know, only 3 weeks of that training camp to get into regular season form?
I don't think so. I think almost every guy, if not all of them, stayed ready during the quarantine. You know, I think it's all of our starters, relievers, everybody, even the guys that are down in USC. I think everybody stayed ready, and we were kind of ahead of it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Another question from Vassay. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
Caleb, has Joe Kelly talked to you guys, your bullpen mates, about the suspension and what he thought about it? And if you can, just describe, even before that, what type of teammate he is and the reputation he has on the team.
You know, I just actually asked Joe yesterday what was going on with it, and nothing has changed. I guess he's waiting on everybody to start the process of appealing. To be honest with you, I don't even know how it works, but I don't know anything that you guys don't know. And, you know, to speak on what Joe went out there and did, I think it shows a lot about the kind of teammate he is. And I think everybody in the clubhouse had his back there and respects him. And, you know, I said it in an interview. I don't know, Al, I did a TV thing with Alana a couple days ago, actually in Houston. And I think a lot of people forget that Joe was on that Boston team that got cheated out of the World Series himself. So, you know, there's definitely some bad blood there for Joe, and that's how he wanted to handle it. And I think everybody respects him for it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Another question from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead, Alana.
Caleb, you were saying that slider cutter pitch didn't work as well when you went back home. It might be a stupid question, but does the weather have anything to do with it? Ohio versus, you know, pitching in Arizona versus Los Angeles. I mean, is that a factor, or just?
I don't know, honestly. It was probably something I was doing wrong, I'm going to guess. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the weather or anything had anything to do with it, but I was probably just doing something wrong. And then for whatever reason, you come back out here and you get coaches and hitters and everything like that. And I think it just all kind of works itself out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
A question from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Caleb, you say your attitude about being a reliever has changed over the last 2 years. How have you changed as a pitcher since you first came up?
Good question. I think I'm just sticking to all my strengths now. I'm not trying to do something that's not me out there. You know, I think I've finally realized the kind of pitcher I am and what I do best. So I go out there and I do that every single time out. You know, I trust the guy behind the plate, and I know that my stuff's going to be better that day than the hitter, and it's kind of the attitude I roll with. And I think just over the years and seeing how successful I was in 18 coming up, and then last year how much I sucked. This year just kind of getting back into where I was in 18 and going out there and doing what I do and not trying to do too much or overthink it. It's at the end of the day, all you're doing is throwing a ball. So can't think of it too much.
Your fastball seems to have the late life, the high spin rate again. Did you make an adjustment, or is that just a product of that attitude?
A little bit of both, actually. I did some stuff with the guys all off season at Ohio State. I worked with their pitching staff a lot. Their coaches, I shouldn't say their staff, but their coaches a lot, and kind of just brought it into here and told Mark and Connor and Bardo exactly what I wanted to do and exactly what I wanted to feel. And those guys are all on board. And every single day I'm doing dry work now before I play catch and just getting that repeatability down. And I think that's really helped.
Thank you.
Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, everybody.